Hi, Valkyries. Welcome to our channel. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Sophia. Welcome to the House of Wind Book Club.
This is the Valkyrie Reading Room. On Monday, we began reading chapters 31 through 40 of A Court of Thorns and Roses. And this week, we are going to go ahead and discuss those chapters.
Yes, and today, while we're doing so, we're going to be sipping on Harney & Sons blueberry green tea.
Yeah.
It is very aromatic, and I'm excited. All right.
I've had this tea before, so I'm going to let mine cool down a little bit, but it is actually really good.
It smells like an air freshener, but like in the best way possible.
Okay. We're live.
Oh, that blueberry tea tastes exactly how it smells, and I'm so happy about it. Because a lot of green teas don't have the strong taste, even though it smells very strong.
Yeah.
But it's sweet.
Yeah.
Even though we added about 2 spoons of sugar, but that's besides the point.
Cheese, butter, sugar, it just tastes like dirt water.
Exactly.
So, alrighty. Well, I guess we should get moving on to chapter. I am talking so quietly.
Just a little bit. Chapter 31.
Yes, chapter 31. Feyre stays close to Nesta at the ball, putting on a smile for Elaine. She can't shake the feeling that she should have done more to get answers about the Blight and help Tamlin. The next day, Feyre learns that the Better family was killed in a fire. Feyre realizes that the fairies attacked the Betters because she gave Claire's name to Rhysand. Feyre tells her family to hire scouts and guards for protection and to flee far away on a ship at any sign of something strange. Feyre warns Nesta about the Blight. Elaine's glamour breaks and she remembers what really happened that night Feyre was taken. Feyre leaves on horseback for Prythian. When she reaches the manor house, it is silent and everybody is gone.
So, there's a lot to unpack on here.
Yeah, because this is like the last time she sees her family for the book.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting that, like, she keeps thinking about Tamlin now that she's gone, but like thinks more romantically the further she is away from him.
Yeah.
I picked that up, which I don't know how I like here or there.
It's almost like the Stockholm syndrome,
yeah,
kind of thing kicking
a little
in.
bit. I don't know how I feel about it a whole lot, but the one thing that really catches the eye in this chapter is when the Bettered family, gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
Because now she knows.
Do you remember me telling you about, like, oh, just hold that fire thought?
I know.
Now you know why.
Yeah, and now she knows for sure that, like, the other courts for sure were looking to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the reason? Why? We're gonna find out, but like this is the point where she realizes that other people have taken notice of her now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just Tamlin and his spring court that know about her, and this is where it gets now really dangerous.
Yes.
And I think this is like that turning point in this part where she's like finally getting the real lay of people want her dead because she's connected to Tamlin. Why is that? What's going on? We're getting much more of that there, so
we're finally starting to climb the climax.
Exactly. And then when she gets before she gets to Prythian, Elaine's glamour breaks.
Mm-hmm. She remembers everything. I feel like we need to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's interesting that both, like, the Nesta's glamour never really took, right?
Yeah, no, Nesta never got Nesta was never glamored.
Exactly. And then Elaine's glamour breaks. It's very interesting, all three of them's glamours, like, in that sense that they can affect it. Mm-hmm. That's interesting to me because like they're human. How are they affecting the glamours?
I know,
but yeah.
But yeah, then she gets to the manor house and it's silent and everyone is gone.
Yeah, that's where it feels a bit of haunted mansion feel to it.
Well, because she says that there was no blood, there was like
ghost town vibes.
Exactly.
And now I'm scared. Why? Where are the servants at the very least? Where are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's really it for chapter 31. And this one was kind of a filler chapter, kind of just
starting the roller coaster.
Yep, starting it. So should we move on to 32?
32. Farah examines the damaged manor. She realizes it was the scene of a vicious fight. Alice emerges wearing a torn dress and limping. Alice reminds Farah that Tamlin told her to stay away. Farah begs for the truth, and Alice finally gives her answers. The blight is Amarantha?
Mm-hmm.
I can never... That name's hard. The vicious queen of Prythian. Amarantha was once an emissary of Hybern, as well as a deadly general in the war against humans. Her younger sister, Cynthia, fell in love with a human warrior named Jurian. Jurian betrayed and murdered Cynthia, fueling Amarantha's hatred for humans. Amarantha wanted to rule Prythian, so she snuck in forces and poisoned the High Lords to steal most of their magic. Amarantha wanted Tamlin for her lover and was enraged when he refused. In retribution, Amarantha cursed Tamlin. To break the curse, he had 49 years to get a human girl, a girl who hated fairies enough to kill one unprovoked, to declare her love for him. Amarantha made the curse harder to break by putting masks on Tamlin's court and preventing them from saying a word about the curse. Andreas crossed the wall as a wolf to help Tamlin, and the treaty was a ruse to get Farah to go to Prythian to break the curse. Had Farah said she loved Tamlin, she could have freed him, his power, and the land. Tamlin sent her away 3 days before the curse was up. Farah decides that she will go to Amarantha's court under the mountain and save Tamlin or die trying. We finally understand. Like, fully.
Yeah, we finally get backstory, all except one little bit that we don't find out until next week.
Yeah.
There's one bit that even she was still like, I can't tell you, but keep your ears open.
Okay. That's right.
Because they've mentioned it like 4 times already in the book.
Right.
So, language.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, you finally get the understanding of why this is going on, why the masks were a thing, why they couldn't say anything.
Get backstory to the whole story.
But I think it's so interesting that Tamlin still sends her away 3 days before it's done.
Yep.
And it makes sense now why he said he loved her as she was leaving.
Because he was trying to get her to say it.
He was trying to, like, that last final straw.
Yeah.
She's just stubborn. Yeah. She doesn't know what she truly feels.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate, actually, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Because it would have been so easy if it, like, followed that pattern. And she is not an easy person. No.
So.
Oh. It's a lot. Yeah. And it feels so fake now. Everything Tamlin was doing.
Yeah, but
it feels fake, but you realize because like we get along like halfway through it. He wasn't trying to like cozy up to her. Like in the beginning, he was trying to be nice. But then
all those hard compliments he was trying to give her, absolutely.
Yeah,
your hair smells nice. So I'm gonna say that, and I get it wrong every time too. It's your hair is clean.
Your hair is clean.
Or your hair looks nice or something. I can't remember the exact quote, but I say it wrong every time.
I think it's your hair smells clean.
I don't know, man.
Something along. It's just strange, but you realize he does start caring about her, but it feels convoluted. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like a true, real love because there's already a motive behind it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely nerve-wracking. So in general, how did you feel when Alice actually revealed everything?
I felt it was like Farah really needed it. Like, it's like when I first read the book, I was like, oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? Like,
this is all that's been happening?
Because it is such a drop.
Yeah. Like,
they just dropped like this huge bomb on you in this chapter.
Yeah. And
like, Farah knows everything before she goes and tries to rescue Tamlin.
Right.
Everything but one teeny little detail.
Yeah. I feel relieved now that she has at least 90% of the picture now. Mm-hmm. Because she's going in eyes open for the most part.
Yes.
which feels a lot better because she's been walking around blind this entire time.
You can't see me, I can't see you.
You can't see me, I can't see you. Yeah. So it's definitely another bomb drop. It's leading to what's gonna build up now, and it was needed.
Yes.
All right, ready for chapter 33?
Of course. Farah sets off armed with bows and arrows as well as 2 daggers. Alice leads her through the forest to a shortcut to the court under the mountain. Farah is determined to free Tamlin, though Alice tells her she'll be lucky for a clean death. Alice leaves her with 3 rules: do not drink the wine, do not make deals unless it's a matter of life and death, and do not trust anybody. She also hints at one part of the curse that the Fae still can't reveal, and urges Farah to listen to what she hears. Before entering the cave shortcut, Farah tells Alice to flee over the wall with her nephews and find Nesta if they need shelter. Farah uses her hunting instincts to make her way through the maze-like cavern and comes face to face with the adder. Bum, 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 bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
I like that she goes armed, but she knows, like, that's not going to do anything against the fairies.
It just makes her feel protected.
Yeah.
It just makes her feel like herself, I think.
Yeah.
Like, she's donating her armor, what she feels as her armor, which is totally Farah coded anyways.
Yeah.
And, okay, you get 3 rules.
Don't drink the wine, don't make deals unless it's a matter of life and death, and do not trust anyone.
Which is funny, because she's going in there to save Tamlin. So why wouldn't she say, trust Tamlin, don't trust anybody else? Because she knows there's something amiss.
Well, I like that she even tells her, like, the wine under the mountain is different than the wine at summer solstice.
Right, and that's why don't drink it.
Don't drink it.
Which...
we learn eventually.
Okay, I'll be like, I don't really remember... we don't learn...
We learn.
We do. I don't remember then.
It's in this week's episode.
I don't remember.
But yeah, I like that even Alice knows, like, you're not going to come out alive.
Like, she doesn't expect her to.
No.
Which is, like, don't do my girl like that, but at the same time, it's reasonable to have that thought anyways.
She's a human going into fairy, what is it? A mouthful of fairies.
Yeah, like, into fairy court, basically.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but, like... she's beaten worse. I feel like she has odds so stacked against her, but she's such a stubborn fool that she's just gonna push through.
Yeah. And so we also learned that this is the cave that the what was it that came through the cave? Tamlin told him.
Yes.
Tamlin told him to stop using the cave.
Oh.
Was it the adder?
It was the adder.
So
because we got introduced to him earlier in the book. Yeah.
So we learned that this is the cave that the adder is going in and out of.
Yeah. Oh.
So, and I like that Farah tells Alice to trust Nesta.
Yeah.
Like, she wouldn't have told Alice to trust Nesta before.
No, but now that she went home and she truly saw, like, the turnaround, that Nesta's, like, finally coming to terms with the violence and the uncertainty that's going on around her, she's finally getting her head screwed on a little better.
Mm-hmm. She's more awake.
She's much more awake. She's much more aware of what's going on, and since she never had the glamour, and now she has even more information from Farah, I think that was such a good call, especially because Farah cares about Alice. She knows that Alice has 2 young kids that she is taking care of. Those are her nephews. And I think it's honestly really sweet that she would kind of push it that way.
Yeah.
I hope that nothing terrible happens, but
yeah. So when the moment came, were you scared of the adder when it popped up?
I did jump because I was listening to the graphic audio, but
oh, see, I haven't listened to the graphic audio. I'm gonna listen to the rest of it this week.
It made me jump a little bit. I was cleaning and it literally jolted me.
Yeah, I bet his voice is kind of creepy. I haven't.
Yeah, it was definitely startling. the voice actor doing that in the graphic audio, it was startling for a minute.
Well,
like it just kind of jolted you for a second, and then it wasn't too bad, but like that first little bit.
Alrighty, well, that's the end of chapter 33. We're going to go ahead and move on to chapter 34.
34. The Adder drags Feyre to the throne room where the party is taking place. The Adder shoves Feyre to the ground. Amarantha is sitting on her black throne with Tamlin sitting next to her. She's wearing a human finger bone and a crystal ring with an eye inside it. The Adder forces Feyre to reveal the reason for her visit, to save Tamlin, the one she loves. Tamlin shows no reaction. Amarantha asks why she shouldn't kill Feyre, and she brags about torturing Claire Better to death and points to her brutalized body nailed to the wall. Tamlin claims he's never seen Feyre before, but Amarantha knows he's lying. Amarantha offers Feyre a deal. If she can complete 3 tasks, 1 each month on the full moon, Tamlin will be free. In the meantime, she'll stay in a cell and do housework at the court. If Feyre fails, she'll be killed. As an alternative to the 3 challenges, Amarantha will break the curse instantly if Feyre can solve a riddle. Though Feyre remembers Alice's advice not to make any deals, she has no choice but to accept Amarantha's terms. After she accepts, 3 fairies brutally beat Feyre until she passes out. This was kind of hard to read.
Yeah, this one was.
Or listen to, really, especially in the graphic audio.
Well, thanks for the warning, because I haven't watched it yet or read it yet.
You really feel the tension in that one. They really do a good job of building it up, and it's very mind. It messes with your mind a bit, like how it's read through.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot taking place here.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with her, arriving in the throne room.
Okay.
She's in this throne, Tamlin's sitting there and not saying anything. And that's
Doesn't even react,
which on the surface is messed up, but then when you think about it, he doesn't want to give any more ammo to Amarantha.
Exactly.
Which makes sense, but it hurts, from Feyre's perspective, that no reaction at all is being given, and I can feel how hard it is on her end that watching this. And how even he says he's never seen her before, that's when you really get the idea that he's really trying to protect her.
Yeah, he's trying to stay stone-faced.
Yeah. While Claire Better is literally
hanging there,
nailed to a wall.
Yeah.
It's very brutal. This is where actual brutality in this book actually really shows itself. Yeah. And then she already breaks one of the rules. She accepts the deal with Amarantha.
But I think it was life or death.
Life or death. Which it is. It is life and death in that situation. And it's so hard because I wish she was more book smart so she would understand how bad of a deal she's kind of being given, where there's no clauses saying you can't hurt me outside of it or anything like that. She doesn't think
she does her very best to try not to find any loopholes, but
yeah, but
we all know in the end there's a loophole.
Yeah.
So,
and then the riddle,
which we'll talk about shortly.
Yeah,
because it's in the next chapter.
It is,
I think.
And then the 3 fairies at the very end, when they beat her. Oh, no! Yeah. The angst really starts to hit. I know the angst is basically really getting started here now because of the pain, and then after the fact, it's going to lead so much more.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you have accepted the deal as it was if you were in her place?
I know when I was reading it, I was like, because obviously I know how this book ends, and so I was like, you can see, now that I know how it ends, I'm like, man, I wish she would have done this or that or this or that. I'm like, when I was reading, I was like, I caught her mistake, and I was like, oof.
Yeah, but she's not book smart.
I know.
And that's what you have to remember. Her sisters are much more book smart than she is. She was never taught to be book smart. She was taught to be street smart.
Mm-hmm.
So and Amarantha, I think, can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows that she would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she knows. And which is why it was so easy for her to kind of set that up.
Yeah. Would I have taken the deal as is? I mean, if I was in Farrah's shoes, didn't know how to read and wasn't very book smart, sure.
Yeah, if I was
me personally as a person, no.
There's so many ways she could have protected herself.
Yeah, I agree.
But she wasn't thinking about protecting herself. She's thinking about saving Tamlin.
Yeah, no, I agree. But we do. I guess this is the chapter where the riddle comes out, right? The Amarantha says the riddle, right?
I think so. It's either this one or the beginning of the next chapter.
Let's see. No, it's this one.
It is this one. Okay, I was like,
I wanted to say what the riddle was so our listeners can think about it too. Like, because I put it in here because I want to read it again and see if you can get it.
We're on 34, right?
Yes, we're on 34.
Okay. I didn't see where.
It's on 35. Oh. I put it on the wrong chapter.
Oh, so. Okay. I was gonna be like, wait.
No. So the riddle is: there are those who seek me a lifetime, but we never meet, and those I kiss, but who trample beneath me ungrateful feet. At times I seem to favor the clever and the fair, but I bless all those who are brave enough to dare. By large, my ministrations are soft-handed and sweet, but scorned I become a difficult beast to defeat. For those, each of my strikes land a powerful blow. When I kill, I do it slow. What do you think it is?
Love. I think she's talking about love, to be completely honest. I think it's something to do with love.
I hate that you got it right the first time.
God damn it, really?
Yeah.
Because I haven't read. Okay, calm down.
Yeah, don't get too excited when you start cursing.
I know. I haven't read further in, but it's the part where it's you feel it soft and slow, but if scorned, it'll kill you slowly.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself, I think, is love right there.
Yeah,
the beginning parts is a little confusing.
It's a little bit. The big one for me was, but I bless all those who are brave enough to dare.
That too, because it's so hard for people who feel it to like speak it out if they're not certain the other person feels it. So you have to be brave. Yep.
I love that you got it first time.
I never
got it.
No,
I never got it until they told me what it was at the end.
I suck at riddles.
Or when Farrah figured it out at the end. She figures it out at the end.
She does? Okay.
Yes, but I just thought that was so funny. I'm like, I can't believe you got it right the first time.
Yay, I suck at riddles. So honestly, this is a 1 in a million chance for me.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, also kind of like the book's about love.
Exactly. So, it's following it, and that's why I was like...
There's a pattern. So, alrighty, well, that's the end of chapter 34. Let's go ahead and move on to 35.
35.
In chapter 35, Farrah awakes in a prison cell in pain from the beating in the throne room. Lucian comes to the cell and asks Farrah if she's lost her mind. He says he's not supposed to be there, but Farrah insists she had to see Tamlin and tell him she loves him. Lucian sets her broken nose, and uses magic to take away her pain and swelling. He tells Farrah that the High Lords will be kept under the mountain until the 3 trials are over. He confirms that the bone in the eye Amarantha wears belongs to Jurian, the human lover who betrayed her sister. Lucian vanishes before the guards appear. 2 fairies drag Farrah to the throne room. Farrah resists telling Amarantha her name, but when Amarantha asks Rhysand if the girl he saw was at Tamlin's manor, he says all humans look the same, but the adder drags Lucian forward so Amarantha can torture him into telling. Farrah blurts out her name to protect Lucian, and Amarantha tells Farrah the riddle, repeating that she, Tamlin, and his court can leave immediately if she solves it. Farrah blames her human shortcomings for not being able to offer an answer. Locked in their cell for 2 days, Farrah focuses on the riddle. When the guards appear, she knows the full moon has risen and it's time for her first trial. So I guess this was where
it really blurts out the quote.
Yeah. So we talked about it earlier, but that's okay.
That's okay. It was already mentioning the riddle beforehand at that point. This just makes me love Lucian more. Yeah. I love Lucian as a character.
Yep, everyone does.
He's truly the best friend to have because he will set you straight while also helping you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not going to be like, wipe your hands of you if it's too much work, this and that. Like, you can obviously see he actually does care for her.
Yeah.
And like, in the beginning, he didn't care.
Yeah.
But over time, he's cared for her enough to where now he's trying to protect her, calling her dumb because you've set yourself up in this impossible situation, and he knows that she can't read, and
He knows everything.
He knows everything, so he knows how bad of the odds it is.
Yeah. But I like that Reason's like, yeah, I don't know.
Which just it starts showing more of his actual personality now that we're like truly like getting to know him a little more and a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I'm liking it in that fact that he has his own agendas. That's obvious. But he's not heartless.
Mm-hmm. He acts like it.
He's really good at that stonewall face.
Yeah.
But you can tell by his non-answers that he does have emotions underneath the stone facade.
Yes. See, in the chapter 35 summary, it even tells you like she wasn't specific about like all the Fae. She was Tamlin in his court.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, so that's where I would have
said all.
Everyone.
Yeah. But
she didn't think about that.
She wasn't thinking about them because she's only really been exposed to the plights of the Spring Court and Tamlin and his people.
Yep, so she's just focused on this court.
Yeah.
But so now that we've had a couple chapters with Amarantha in the picture, what do you think of her?
Evil Queen vibes.
Evil Queen vibes. Well, duh.
But like the Snow White evil queen.
Yeah.
Like she's been scorned, but through her sister, she holds on to that hatred and that cruelty.
Yeah.
And it's truly what's driving her. She doesn't care about anything else other than having the most power and to be as cruel and merciless with humans as possible.
Yeah. And I liked how, like, I don't know if you read the original audiobook and then listened to the dramatized version.
Not this time.
Yeah, and I only listened to the normal version.
Yeah.
But it's like, I didn't realize how, like, nice she's playing in the beginning.
Yeah, she's really good at that facade. I did notice that, like, she's trying to make herself seem so nice
and friendly, like.
But it's like drawing honey into a trap.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that when I first time I read the book, but like now that I'm reading it again, I'm like,
oh wait,
wait a minute.
Yeah. She's like, you can, once you really understand the meanings behind her words, you realize how cruel it is.
Mm-hmm.
But face to face, it doesn't seem as cruel.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, like how sweet she's being.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so sweet.
And I'm so nice, and I'm giving you all these opportunities.
Sorry, I just got flashbacks from work. But yeah, so I guess that's the end of chapter 35.
35. Chapter 36. The guards drag Farah to an arena filled with a rowdy crowd. They throw her in front of a platform where Amarantha and Tamlin are seated, surrounded by 6 other High Lords of Prythian. A winged creature drops Farah into a deep, muddy maze. The maze holds a giant worm with a mouth full of rows of sharp teeth. Farah runs from the creature in the slippery mud. Eventually, Farah realizes the worm is blind. She also realizes that the maze is littered with bones, which she uses to make a ladder up the muddy walls. Farah lines the bottom of a pit with sharp bones, covers herself with mud so the worm cannot smell her, and then climbs out of the pit. Rhysand realizes Farah's plan and smiles at her from the audience. Farah runs towards the worm, cutting her hand so the creature will smell her blood. As soon as she runs, unaware of the worm's location, Lucian warns her that it's on her left just before the creature bursts through the wall of mud. She lures it to her left just before the creature bursts. Wait, sorry. She lures it to the pit. The worm follows her and gets impaled on the bone spikes. Feyre has survived Amarantha's first challenge. Amarantha tells Feyre the whole court bet against her except one individual. As Feyre returns to her cell, she realizes her arm is badly broken.
I don't know about you, but I was gagging the entire time when they were describing her arm.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I don't remember them being this graphic about the arm. I was like,
exactly. I guess reading it versus listening to it, it's easier to ignore the gruesome description
just
of
a
it.
wee bit.
Yeah.
Because it was rough. I was like, oh my. Because I was listening to it at work. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Like I was sitting there looking, I'm surprised our coworker didn't hear me going, she hears everything when it's something funny like that.
That's true.
But yeah.
So as a whole, I thought this challenge, Amarantha didn't know who she was setting up here. She
supposedly she's a huntress, so let's see how well the huntress can hunt.
Exactly. But left her with so many things she left all her tools to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that everyone but one person bet against her. And that one person,
we found out in the next chapter.
I know. And it's just, in general, this story made me think a lot through Alice in Wonderland, almost like the maze and like the back and forth you can't see, and how like there's certain senses that are amplified, like the worm can't see but can definitely smell.
Mm-hmm.
It made me think of like the one maze in Alice in Wonderland where like she has to do all these turns, this and that, and has to find a way out, and it's like it's hard until you get the idea, and then the idea she runs with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was smart.
I have to know, how did you picture the worm?
From SpongeBob.
Okay, good, because everyone thinks of SpongeBob.
Okay, good.
Including myself.
That's immediately
everyone thinks of the worm from SpongeBob.
Yeah, because it's blind.
Well, the one at SpongeBob has eyes, but
it is. Is it not blind? No, I thought it was. No, okay, but either way,
I had to ask because everyone thinks of the one from SpongeBob.
I don't really think there's any other like real popular shows that ever showed a really big worm like that other than SpongeBob, which honestly makes me a little happy that we all immediately went to the one thing everyone should know.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone thinks of the SpongeBob meme, so it's like called the memes on TikTok are about the worm. I can't wait to show you that.
I think I've seen one of them, and now that actually makes so much more sense. Now that that's actually clicking in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
But
and then the one shout out to Lucian, he's still helping.
Yeah, even though he knew what the consequences were going to end up being.
Yeah, because he was loud enough for her to hear her, which means
everyone else heard.
Yeah.
So.
Ouch. I'm scared. Okay. Chapter 37.
37. Alone in her cell, Feyre worries that her wound has become infected. Rhysand appears and Feyre rebuffs him. He tells her he bet on her to win the first challenge and she made him a lot of money. He offers to heal her arm and if she'll spend 2 weeks each month with him in the Night Court. He tells Feyre that Amarantha punished Lucian for helping her during the trial. Though she is in terrible pain, Feyre tells Rhysand to go to hell. Just before Rhysand leaves, she has second thoughts. She says she'll spend 5 days at the Night Court. They agree on 1 week. He grabs her arm, ridding her of the pain, fever, and mud. Feyre lifts her arm to find it covered from fingertips to her elbow with a black swirly tattoo featuring an eye in the middle of her palm. Feyre accuses Rhysand of tricking her and he taunts her with the idea of telling Tamlin. Rhysand vanishes.
Yeah. I want to know what it means.
What?
the tattoo.
It's a bargain tattoo.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't understand that.
That's what they in the night court when you make a bargain with a fae, you get a tattoo.
That's okay. I didn't realize that listening to that.
Yeah, that's what he says. It's a custom in my court.
Oh, that's okay. That's what he means by okay.
Yep.
That did not click when I was listening, to be completely honest.
No, it's a common theme in the rest of the series.
Okay.
You'll see it happen with Nesta. You'll see it happen with Feyre again.
It happens again.
Yes.
God damn it.
But I in the summary it doesn't say it, but it's like he grabs her and like makes her so filled with pain, like he's trying to like trick her into saying yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if yeah.
It hits that part. That was about what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's gross.
And it's
I get it. He's trying to save her life.
He's trying to save her life, but he really does embody that morally gray character where he's also punishing her for her naive like acceptance.
Yeah, quit being dumb. Just do it.
Yeah, just either think it through or don't do it.
Yeah.
One or the other. And the fact that she's not thinking it through and accepting, he punishes her kind of by like giving her more pain.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of understand it.
Yeah, because he's trying to save her.
He's trying to save her and trying to teach her a lesson.
Yeah, like quit being so stupid.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And then you learn that Lucien definitely was punished for helping her in that first trial.
Well, he was punished, but wasn't, I think it said Tamlin was the one to give out the lashes.
Yeah.
So
it was a punishment for him
too.
Yeah. Because she wants to spread all the pain.
Yeah. So.
Ay.
So would you have accepted Rhysand's deal?
If I was in her position, probably, to be completely honest.
When would you have accepted it? Would you have accepted it at 2 weeks? Would you have accepted it at I think there was 10 days and then it was 5 days and then it went down to a week. So when would you have accepted it? Would you have accepted it at the 2 weeks or the 10?
I would have tried to do it for the shortest amount of time. I would have argued it enough because she doesn't know who he is, what his court's like, what she's walking into. I would have bargained like she did kind of to get lower than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because I'm like, knowing nowadays, I'm like, I'd take 2 weeks over Tamlin.
And that's where I'm like
2 weeks could heal me.
Take me away. But we don't know anything yet.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Rhysand yet. So.
And she doesn't know him enough, and he just hurt her kind of, and this and that. Yes. So it's understandable why she wants to keep it as short as possible now.
Yeah, well, she's also thinking of like how this would hurt Tamlin too.
That's true, because it feels like she's going back on him a bit.
Yeah.
But he's telling her to live. In this point, this is one of the ways that it's one of the only things she can do to try to like what's the word? Ensure her survival. Yeah. Because staying there now, she's learned that it's not safe.
Yeah.
She's already been beaten. She had her arm broken in the first one. She needs to get away from this area at some point.
Yeah.
So I understand why she does end up accepting by the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is smart. Yeah. All right. 38?
Yeah, hopefully 38 isn't as gory as this next one, so we'll go ahead and move on to 38.
38. Chapter 38. Feyre faces the task of scrubbing a white marble hallway with a bucket of dirty water. The guards threaten to roast her over the fire if she doesn't get the floor clean by supper. The Lady of the Autumn Court visits her. She turns the bucket of water clean to thank Feyre for saving Lucien, her son, from Amarantha's wrath. The next day, the guards give Feyre the task of cleaning lentils out of the ash in a fireplace. They tell her if she fails, the chamber's occupant will peel off her skin. Rhysand appears and asks why she's digging in his fireplace. He tells her that only scraps of his power remains now. He also tells her that all the High Lords can shapeshift, and he shows her his bat-like wings. Feyre asks Rhysand if he knows the answer to the riddle, but Amarantha has forbidden anyone from helping her. Impressed that she had the nerve to ask, he uses his magic to separate the lentils and cleans the ashes off of her. He orders the guards to not touch Feyre or give her any more chores. Rhysand smiles at her as she walks out.
I love this chapter.
This was a good one. This is a good little palate cleanser in between all the brutality in the last couple of chapters.
Yeah.
And then, okay, the Lady of the Autumn Court. I thought that was sweet. Like, they're not all heartless, the fairies, and it reinforces that idea that they still act quote unquote human. They still appreciate when things happen, and they're not, and especially on her case when she helps, like, cleans out the dirty water for clean water because she did help save Lucian.
Yeah, she's like, my debt is clear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't want debts in their names, and they will fulfill them, even if she particularly didn't even like her. She still did it because she did help her son.
Yes.
And just the back and forth with Feyre and Rhysand in this part.
Yeah. I love them together. They're so funny together.
The attitude in the exchanges, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
They both got attitude.
The steam.
I know, it just, the tension and everything. And then the bat wings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more.
Pocket that note for later.
I know. I will say though, in comparison to how Tamlin turns into that big wolf thingy, right? He's like a wolf
beast. We'll call it a beast.
Like, in my head, I picture, like, this is the most terrible way to put it, but I think of like the Twilight Wolves a little bit. Is how I kind of imagine him, but like with the color profile and all that. So it's interesting that, like, the different courts have different animal kind of presenting, like, different categories, almost, is what it feels like right now.
Yeah, I'll have to send you the video that I saw that was, like, the AI version of, like, the beast form.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that is so cool.
Okay, yeah, because I'm picturing Twilight huge wolves type thing, kind of like how Andreas was a little.
Yeah.
But when he smiles at her as she walks out, I'm just... At this point, it's very obvious that Rhysand has a lot more feelings about this entire situation and her and how she's involved than he's saying or willing to really put out there, and it's just the little crumbs that are leading at this point, and I can feel it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to ruin it for you. I think you already got it though, but I'm not going to say anything until we're off mic.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you're headed in the right spot.
Okay.
But obviously enemies to lovers.
But... It is, and I like the fact that we don't start off with even him. We get a real feel for her, even in like a different emotional state with someone else and this and that, and you can see how she's reacting to Rhysand was not at all close to how she was reacting to Tamlin in the beginning. And supposedly in every situation,
almost like how much more comfortable she is with him.
Yeah, but I think that's because he's not trying to hide
who he is, like
who he is at all.
Exactly how Lucian was.
Exactly, not Tamlin.
No, Tamlin was hiding who he was. Lucian was acting like how Lucian acts.
Exactly, and that's why she was already comfortable with Lucian. And I like the fact that Rhysand doesn't really... He's not really thinking about, like, how to manipulate her, really. He's truly just trying to figure out the entire... He's playing chess right now. But at the same time, he's not really hiding like, motives by any means. He's just not really speaking it, because he's not really allowed to, is how I'm getting the feel of everything.
Yeah. I agree.
All right.
39?
39.
Buckle in for 39.
Oh, Lord.
Alone in her cell with no chores and no visitors, Feyre thinks about the riddle and looks at the eye on her palm. After 4 days, Rhysand sends two high fae women to fetch Feyre, wash her, apply makeup and body paint, and dress her in sheer white fabric. Suddenly, Rhysand appears to take Feyre to a midsummer celebration. He explains that the flimsy dress and the body paint will allow him to know if anyone touches her. In the throne room, Rhysand tells Amarantha that he and Feyre made a deal for her to spend 1 week a month with him. Tamlin does not react, but Feyre sees his white-knuckled grip on the arm of the throne. Rhysand offers Feyre wine. Remembering Alice's advice, she refuses, but soon gives in and drinks. The wine makes her vomit. She's sick most of the next day in her cell. Lucian arrives at dinner time. He tells Feyre that oh my goodness. He tells her that Rhysand made her dance for him most of the night. Lucian condemns her for making the deal with Rhysand instead of waiting for him to heal her arm. Feyre thanks Lucian for helping her during the first task and apologizes that he was punished for it. He tells her that's why he didn't visit her sooner. He also tells her that Tamlin doesn't react, so he doesn't give Amarantha anything to use against Feyre. Each night, she's painted and dressed to go to the throne room at Rhysand's side. Each day, she sleeps off the effects of the wine and thinks about the answer to the riddle. Rhysand tells her to enjoy. Rhysand tells her he enjoys using her to taunt Tamlin. Feyre asks Rhysand why he saved her life, but he does not give an answer. In the throne room, Amarantha orders Rhysand to enter the mind of a high fae who tried to escape. She tells Rhysand to shatter him, and he kills the fae simply by making a fist.
There's a lot going on in this chapter.
Yes.
She breaks another rule.
Mm-hmm.
She drinks the wine.
Fairy wine.
And this girl. And she keeps drinking it.
Yes, but it's like I feel like it's also kind of against her will. She doesn't really get a choice but to drink it.
That's true, but I'm just like everything that she's been told not to do, they're all forcing her to do it.
Yeah, she doesn't. Oh, excuse me.
Yawn break. 1 second.
She doesn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, which it's such a hard position for her to be in, and reading it from the reader's perspective, you're like, don't do it, but it's like she's being pressured into it, and she knows that she doesn't really have a choice in any of this.
Yeah.
And I will say though, on the surface of how he makes her like get the body paint and the flimsy dress and blah 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 blah, it feels really icky, but when you think about it, he's doing that to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing that if he will know if anyone touches her, and it shows that underlying care of he doesn't want anyone else to hurt her, at least in his presence.
Yeah, well, we'll see in the next set of chapters the reason why.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, I do remember this part, but like at now, the thought process was he's doing it as a way to also know who's interacting with her a bit and who's actually going to hurt her, because he'll have the proof in the pudding, basically.
Proof in the pudding. I don't know why pudding sounds really good right now.
I want Jello, really. Jello?
I like chocolate pudding sounds really good right now all of a sudden.
My dad loves that stuff. I can't do it.
I can't have pudding because it has dairy in it, but...
They don't make it... No, that would be too inclusive to have a non-dairy pudding.
Yeah, because you have to use milk in it.
Exactly.
I've made non-dairy pudding, though. It's very good.
Yeah?
Yes. I'll have to eventually make it for you.
Okay. Wait.
Squirrel, sorry.
Squirrel, going back to this real quick. It's when Rhysand is telling Amarantha about the deal he makes with Feyre, and how Tamlin, although facially doesn't react, you can see how displeased he is by the white knuckle grip, showing that he's not, like in the beginning, as he's like quiet,
PO'd about it.
Yeah, he's really, really mad about all this, which is where you can really get the tension between Tamlin and Rhysand. You're really getting that they do not like each other, and you get it even more when later in the chapter he talks about like doing all this to wind him up.
Yeah.
Don't mind the licking. Our dog, one of the dogs is licking. But and then at the very end, when Amarantha is ordering Rhysand during a interrogation of another High Fae Lord, and you learn what his power is, kind of, or at least you get a glimpse into it,
Yeah.
where he can kill someone
With a flick of a hand.
with a flick of a hand, and that's
Scary.
scary. It is, but at the same time, having that in your corner, I mean,
why do you think he's Amarantha's?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's
BITCH is.
Yeah, or I was the term they call him is whore, right? Yeah. It's and you can tell in general you can just see how convoluted Amarantha is really like messed up all the High Fae and how they're pitting them against each other and really really using those with the most power against everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to read, especially when you're getting little snippets about Rhysand doing some good things and then terrible things and then good things and then terrible things.
Well, I think he doesn't even torture this High Fae. I think he just kills him and does a mercy kill.
Well, yeah.
I can't remember, but I feel like it was a mercy kill. He didn't even torture him.
He enters the mind first, and that in of itself can't be like that has to hurt. But like he doesn't draw it out. He's not getting any pleasure from doing this.
Yeah, because I don't think he says anything to Amarantha. He's like, "Oh, sorry, it just happened."
Yeah, it's just oh,
sorry, my bad.
Oops. Oops. Oopsies. Okay. Oh, all right. Chapter 40.
40.
Chapter 40. On the night of her second task, Feyre stands before Amarantha and Tamlin in a cavern smaller than the throne room. The floor underneath Feyre lowers her into a pit surrounded by 3 walls and an iron gate with Lucien chained on the floor on the other side. With the crowd watching, Amarantha tells Feyre she has to solve the puzzle and choose the correct lever from a set of 3. 2 spiked grates, one over Feyre and one over Lucien, comes down slowly from the ceiling. One wall features writing above the 3 levers, but Feyre can only make out a few words. Lucien begs her to make a choice, and she panics as the spikes get closer. As she reaches for the second lever and then the first, severe pain shoots through her arm. When she reaches for the third lever, she does not experience any pain. She pulls the third lever, and the spikes stop advancing. Feyre falls to her knees and cries, but then hears a voice in her head telling her to stop crying and face Amarantha. Feyre does so, walking out with her head held high, before collapsing and sobbing in her cell. Rhysand appears and licks the tears from her face. He tells her she won't be his escort that night, but that she should look her best the following night. He taunts her about not being able to read, but says he won't tell anyone. Feyre curses the eye on her palm, but recognizes that Rhysand saved her life.
Was this one rough for you to read since Lucien's like your favorite?
Yes. Like, why do you gotta keep punishing him?
I know, Lucien is like Amarantha's like punching bag, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Because everyone likes him.
Because it's like, what did Lucien do to Amarantha?
Exactly, nothing. But he's easy to hurt to make everyone else that she's really.
It's because he's so. Because I remember, because in the beginning of the book, Lucien was friends with everybody.
Exactly.
So that
everyone cares about him.
Mm-hmm. So his mom, Tamlin, obviously has his a-hole brothers, but
Yeah.
But it's like then you've got Feyre now, and then
other courts like him. He's likable, and that's why she's using him as her punching bag, and I hate it.
I think it's so funny.
Ugh.
I love it.
But then
don't worry, Lucien doesn't really get hurt again until the 3rd book.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better now, yes. At the very least, because he's getting just the whooping of his life right now. Okay. This challenge, Amarantha is going for blood of it, because this is how I feel she knows that she has to know that she can't read. That's why this challenge was set before her.
Well, I can't remember if they said that Amarantha didn't know she couldn't read.
I don't think they explicitly say it. But the thing is this is another riddle, isn't it? Not a riddle, a puzzle. And she has to know something for this to be the challenge, I think. Like, she might not explicitly know that she can't read, but I feel like she has an inkling of something.
I wonder if it's like one of those puzzles, like it's a trick question kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she had no idea. Like, I wonder if she had no idea that she couldn't read, but she was going to try to trick her anyway.
Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know. I feel like she's evil enough to pick up on the subtle things.
Mm-hmm.
But you get that point where she goes for 2 different levers first, and it's the pain in her arm, the arm that was broken, the arm that has the deal, tells her no, 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 until she gets the right one.
Mm-hmm.
And
guess who was doing it this entire time?
Rhysand. And it's that one part when you hear him say, "Stop crying, get up."
Don't break in front of her.
Don't give her more ammo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you really get to, like, you really truly see, like, explicitly now that he's trying to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get her actually through it, not just to play with her, but to actually get her through these trials.
Yeah, because she's starting to break.
Exactly. It's really affecting her now, which makes sense. It's 2 months of basically torture on and off, the uncertainty, the not knowing.
And it's so funny. I didn't catch this the first time I read it. I didn't know it was 3 months.
3 months.
I thought it was 3 weeks.
Yeah, because it's full moons.
I didn't catch that part when I first read it.
Oh,
so
that's like, what's even rougher for me.
I'm like,
here.
oh, that makes sense in the next book, the PTSD in the next book.
Yeah, because 3 months of the emotional and physical torture that she's put through.
Yeah.
And she's a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, why?
Why?
But I also, it's at that very end part when he licks the tears off.
I hate when they do that. I'm sorry.
Like, why are you being so weird?
Why do authors think that's attractive? Like, it's gross to me.
It's weird. Okay, I don't want anybody licking me like that.
It's even gross, like, when your partner playfully does it.
It's supposed to be annoying when a partner does it. It's supposed they're
like
annoying you.
She kind of gets that, like, in the end. She's like, she finally, like, clicks out of it. And she's like, "Ew, get off me!"
Yeah,
but it's
that shock of what the.
Yeah, and it's just like, I hate when authors do that and they tend to try to do it sexually.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's not. I don't know what you're into, but
it should not be that.
It's not hitting it for me.
Yeah, but then following, he doesn't take her to his court that night. He gives her that break, and although taunting her about not being able to read, he still says that he's not gonna spread it around and, like, tell people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Which, it just shows that he has a lot of layers to him, and you don't really know what's going on his end. And I want to know what's going on his end. That's where I
can't wait for you to read the next books. Sophie went and bought the entire book set of ACOTAR, so once we're finished here, she is going to go ham on this because she can't wait. She's chewing her nails waiting for it so badly.
I am fully on this roller coaster now.
So when we say we're talking about this, just know Sophie is going to probably read this next 5 books in 2 weeks?
Easily.
So I just can't wait for her to read it so we can talk about it again.
Yes. All right. So that was chapter 40.
That's 40. Thank you for joining us for reading chapters 31 through 40 of A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Please like and subscribe here on YouTube, and you can also find us on Instagram and Fable at Valkyrie Reading Room.
Join us next week as we finish our book and discuss chapters 41 through 43. And also we are doing a little end of book party where we're going to play some Kahoot trivia, and we're going to drink some, quote, fairy wine and just kind of have some fun and talk a little bit more about the book in general. Instead of going chapter by chapter, we're going to do a little bit more of an end of book party.
Little highlights, what we really liked, what things really stood out to us.
Yeah, so join us then. But for now,
This has been the House of Wind Book Club.
Thank you again for joining us in the Valkyrie reading room. Good night.
Good night.